I built and led a sales team that brought in over 100 million a year, not by hiring more reps, by building a system that actually worked. Most founders are still stuck doing all the closings themselves, and every hire just adds more chaos. In this video, I'll show you the exact framework I use to turn underperforming teams into high-converting machines, so you can finally step back from sales and start acting like the CEO again. Point number one, why founders stay trapped in sales? Here's the truth. You didn't plan to become the best salesperson in your business. It just happened because you know the product better than anyone else and you care the most about the outcome. That's why you close deals. But here's the problem. When you try to hire salespeople, it usually doesn't fix things. In fact, most founders end up with more headaches because the new hires never sell the way they do. I remember vividly hiring people and expecting them to get the same exact result I was getting, the same exact way with the same exact passion and tenacity. It never worked. And then when I found people that sold like I sold, the problem was I was isolating all other real sales candidates that could actually do the work if we gave them the fair shot. And because I cared the most and I thought that those were my people, it just flowed well. Here's the truth. I didn't realize that it wasn't the fact that everyone couldn't close like me. The real cost wasn't just my frustration in people that I was letting go. It was the missed growth, the capped revenue, and eventually burnout. You end up working in sales instead of leading the company. And here's the kicker. Random tactics don't solve it. More calls, new scripts, more leads, motivational training don't matter if there isn't a real system in place. That's the difference between a sales process and a sales system. A process is just steps written down. A system makes sure every rep at every stage is set up to consistently perform without relying on you. Point number two, the sales system diagnostic. So how do you know you've got a real system or just a patchwork process? Here's the test. If you step away for 2 weeks, can someone else run it without you? The answer is no, you don't have a system. Every real system has 3 parts. Clear structure that guides the rep and the prospect. Tools and scripts that keep everyone aligned, and accountability that makes sure the system actually gets used. This is why most sales trainings fall apart. They fail. Pumps people up. It gives them new lines to say, but without structure, tools, and accountability, the results never last. Instead, you need to diagnose the real bottlenecks in your sales approach. Is it at lead handoff? Is it during the discovery call? Or is it the follow-up where deals die quietly? Once you can see those gaps, that's where the system starts. Being able to identify those gaps is everything. If you cannot identify those gaps, you will continue to have a system that collapses. And when the optimization of your sales process and your sales team, your team can grow, the people can grow, the people can get better. When all that is growing, you have to be able to identify the new gaps. If you cannot, you are a slave to your sales system and it's not a system. And you will continuously be jumping into the sales process because you don't know how to remove yourself from the results that sales brings to your organization. Point 3, building your sales foundation. Let's talk about the foundation of your sales system. First step is creating clear sales stages that everyone understands. When a rep moves a deal forward, you should know exactly what that means because the stages are consistent across the team. In my mortgage days, when we got a client to say yes, they wanted to move forward, knowing the next step was we ordered the appraisal. Hey, the appraisal actually cost money. If the client was dodging the appraiser's call, if the client didn't set the appraisal, if the client didn't pay for the appraisal, if the client didn't set the appraisal date, we didn't have a deal. I didn't have to be confused about where it was going next. It was going nowhere. It was on me, the sales rep, to get back in there with the client and find out what went wrong. When you have these processes, these checks and these balances in place, you know what's happening next. From there, you need scripts and playbooks, not to turn reps into robots, but to make sure there's a proven path to follow. This way, when someone's struggling, you can see whether it's the rep or the system that needs adjusting. And keep in mind, the script is just a crutch. It's almost like you're bringing a new sales rep in, and it's like they do have a sprained ankle. They do need a little bit of a crutch to get going. But our job is to nurse that ankle back to health and get them not just walking fast, then running. Next, define roles. Who books calls? Who runs discovery? Who closes? Without this, you get overlap, confusion, and dropped opportunities. And don't forget, most of what's working for you right now is still in your head. You've got to document it so someone else can use it. Metrics matter too. If you're only tracking closed deals, you're blind to what's breaking early in the funnel. Each stage needs its own success metric, super vital to the scalability of your sales team. And finally, your CRM. Most founders underestimate this, but your CRM is where the system actually lives. If it's messy or incomplete, your team will never follow it consistently. If you're tired of being the only one who can close deals in your business, I can help. I work with business owners who want sales teams that perform without them in every single meeting. That sounds like you. Click the link below to book a call. We'll look at your sales problems and build a system that works for you and scales your business without you being in the trenches. Point number 4, the team implementation framework. Here's where most sales teams fall apart. Reps usually resist new systems, not because they don't want to win, but because change feels like extra work. You ever been inside of a system, any system? I don't care if it's football. If I take my son, he's at practice, and we are going through drills. The moment you try to take that drill up a notch to get everyone riled up, you're gonna get detractors. This is no different in a team environment. And you wanna kind of ease this stuff in, but the reality is when we take it up a notch, everything works better. We can't sacrifice on the things that actually make sales teams win, regardless of the size and the this and the that. We're gonna push forward and we're gonna get the extra work from the sales rep so that they can increase what they're doing, so that they can increase their numbers, so that we can make more sales, so that we can have more clients. The key is rolling out your system the right way. Start small. Let's get some quick wins. Let's make sure the team sees the benefit. Salespeople are intrinsically motivated for themselves. You want to make sure you tap on that intrinsic motivation, and that'll never stop for you. Accountability matters, but it doesn't have to mean micromanaging. Set clear expectations, track results, and use the system itself to keep people aligned. Training should be ongoing, not a one-time event. Reps need repetition, reinforcement, and feedback until the system becomes second nature. One of the biggest shifts you can make is building a weekly cadence. When the team reviews deals, progress, and sticking points together, the system stays alive. Oh, it has so much life. And here's a tip. When performance drops, don't blame the rep. Ask, does the rep need coaching? Or does the system itself need fixing? As the rep is intrinsically motivated, you need to be intrinsically business motivated. You put the pressure on the system. You can scale as big as you want if the system can handle the pressure. If the system can't handle the pressure, then your whole deal's gonna collapse. So never get upset at the rep. Everything will be revealed in its time, but let the system take the pressure. And the more pressure the system can handle, the faster you get back to doing CEO activities. Point 5, scaling through systems, not just headcount. Nothing's worse than not scaling through systems. Once the system is running, that's when you scale. And the mistake most founders make here is just adding more people. More people creates chaos. More people inside of a system creates flow. Instead of just adding more people, focus on automation first. Where can tech save time or eliminate errors? Simple tools like automated follow-ups or pipeline reminders can multiply effectiveness without one single new hire. You also want a feedback loop. Your team should be feeding real-world insights back into the proven system so it keeps on improving. When should you actually add more people? Only when the system is running smoothly. Otherwise, you're just scaling chaos. And here's the real test. Does your sales machine keep working without you in it at all? If it does, you're no longer trapped in sales. You're leading a business that can scale. If you're still the main one closing deals, it's time to change that. My team helps founders build sales systems that work without them, so growth doesn't depend solely on you. Hit the link below, grab a spot on my calendar, and let's map out how to make sales run without you in it.